Today, we're gonna go over my ice fishing crib from the start to the finish. So we're not sponsored by anybody. I get none of this stuff for free. This is all just a non-biased opinion. This is equipment that I've chose to help me in the field, and hopefully this advice will help you guys too. We will start with the shelter itself. I'm running the Clam X800 thermal. It's a great shelter. I've had this in insane temperatures, crazy snowstorms, crazy windstorms. I've put this thing to a stress test pretty hard. I think if it's not a thermal, in my opinion, it's kind of worthless unless you got really nice weather, which we don't know what that is out here, unless it's today when I can't go fishing. The non-thermal fabric just doesn't breathe. It just sweats. When you have heaters inside and all that condensation's building up, it goes nowhere. But in these thermals, it can escape. Even when you got your vents open in a non-thermal, it just doesn't work very well. What I like about this Clam setup too is one side has the V nose with the V door, because in these really high winds out here, and I've had it in high winds, you can strap this front end down, and I always face the tip of this towards my predominant wind. That'll really help you out with the wind noise and just shaking and possibly the destruction of your tent. So now that we talked about the shelter a little bit, let's go in and check on the inside, and I'll show you the setup. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the flooring. So I run rubber anti-fatigue mats underneath the bottom. I lay those down first, and then I run those foam gym mats on the top. Now, the reason I do this is because whether you're using a wood stove or whether you're using gas or propane, you're still going to get water melt from warming the inside of the tent. And it's going to eventually get everywhere. When you camp for days, it gets everywhere. So I run those rubber mats underneath, and it gives me a little more elevation. It just helps you keep your foam mats dry. It could be negative 30, 40 degrees outside, and I'll be walking around in here barefoot or in socks or with my slippers on, because the floor is dry, the stove is kicking butt, and it just works really well. You might think, okay, wow, that's a pretty extravagant setup for a flooring system. That must take forever. It really doesn't. To make things faster, I Gorilla taped 4 pieces of the gym floor mats together, and so it makes your setup go 4 times faster. The Gorilla tape worked the best, and I tried a couple different tapes. Next thing we're going to talk about is the lighting system. I'm running the Clam Aurora lights. These are awesome. The cool thing about them, they're made to fit the exact length of these Clam poles, and then they just connect right over, go to your next runner, and then right up to your next one. They're really bright lights. They got different modes, so you can change the mode on them. You got the yellow, you got the white, and then you got the mix, and the mix is really bright. Nice little remote with your dimming settings, your light change mode, and then your power mode. And when it's off, it's got that nice little blue light. And I like it right next to my bed, so I can just reach over in the dark and turn my lights on. For the battery system, I'm running some 12-volt rechargeable batteries. Those are only about 7.5 amps. That's why I have 3 of them. I got some nicer batteries on the way. Let's go over the stove. I'm going to end up making a completely different, more detailed video on how I converted my ice shelter into a hot tent. So if you guys subscribe, check out the channel, keep an eye out. I'll drop a video on how I did the stove setup. It is a little more work than doing propane, but it's totally worth it. It could be negative 20, 30, 40 degrees, 50 degrees. I don't care. I walk around in my underwear in here if I want to. It gets as toasty as you want it. It is, converting to a wood stove was the best thing I ever did. Hands down, ice fishing. It is so worth it. Not only do you stay warm, you eliminate any need for cooking anything. I cook all my food on this wood stove. So all I need is my frying pan. That's it. Now we'll talk briefly about the sleeping system. Not complicated, not a lot going on here. Make sure it's a cot that has room underneath. I had an old cot that had a whole bunch of legs on it, and it was obnoxious. I couldn't fit stuff under it. Because when you're ice fishing, you got lots of bags. Bags for your cot, bags for your sleeping bag, bags for your hub itself. And I like having storage under there. Throw stuff under there. If you can't put stuff under your cot, it's a lot of wasted space. But also, I'm a princess. I love my mats. I just got this one, but I normally just run my memory foam mat. Pops right up. I sleep like a baby. I love my memory foam mats. Not only do I have the noise of a fire roaring and the warmth from it, I sleep on a memory foam mat. To me, that's kind of a must. I love my memory foam mat. So, I'm going to dive into a bunch of the knickknacks and the things that just make my life so much easier when I'm out there on the ice. These are the things I absolutely love and just don't go without. First things first, let me find one. So first thing on the knickknack list, these little hooks. These little hooks are so awesome. They got the Velcro on them. I use them for all sorts of different things. You can position them anywhere along your runners, and then I put my fishing poles in them. They fit perfect, and then they cannot come out. And when you get a fish, it just loads up, points down. They're up top. They're out of the way. There's no clutter down there. Another thing I like to use them for is over by the wood stove by the door. I got my coats, and my bibs usually hang right here, and they get nice and toasty dry right across from the fire. So they're always warm when I go to throw them on, and then they also stay dry. Another knickknack that I absolutely love is my clip-on light. You just clip it on, rotate your light any direction you want, boom, right on my tabletop, or I'll clip it up here, use it on my cook station. Super handy to have. Another absolute must for me, I run my pliers and my scissors on my lanyards. Can't fall in the hole, and it stays organized, and they're always at my chair. I've got a set that stays on my bibs at all times, so when I'm outside doing stuff, I always have my pliers and scissors with me, because you got to get the hooks out. You always got to get the hooks out, and I bleed all my fish. So I always have scissors and pliers with me. I run the Garmin. It's got my flasher. It's got my GPS on it. I absolutely love my Garmin products. They've never let me down. I also like this Garmin system because I don't only use it for ice fishing. I take the flasher off and I use my side view fish finder on my kayak when I'm kayak fishing. So I use this in the summer and in the winter. Another knickknack that's a must, I like having my rechargeable fan. Fans are nice, evenly distributes that heat. Of course, there's a lot more to it than that, but those are just the basics of my ice fishing setup, the bare bones essentials. If you guys like watching ice fishing videos, we got some on the channel. Go ahead and check those out. And if you got any questions about certain parts of the setup, go ahead and leave a comment. We'll get back to you, maybe even make a video about something you have a specific question about. So we appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Get back on the map a little bit. Hopefully this freezes up so I can dig with it for 20 minutes after this.